Hello viewers, welcome to our daily V News. Up next are the headlines. Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng visits Tây Ninh Province. More than 44,700 enterprises established in the first 5 months of 2016. Project approved to promote Nguyễn Dynasty Royal Documents value. The southwestern province of Tây Ninh needs to work out proper strategies to fully tap its potential advantages for socio-economic development. Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng made the suggestion during a working session with provincial leaders on June 5th. The party chief stressed that with 240 kilometers of borderline and the 2 international border gates of Mộc Bài and Sa Mat, Tây Ninh holds a significant strategic position in the national economy, defense, security, and diplomacy. He urged the province to pay more attention to developing agriculture, industry, service, and tourism to make the best use of its favorable topography and transport network, alongside with implementing effectively social welfare policies. As a gateway in the southwestern part of the country, Tây Ninh should promote external affairs and maintain security in the border areas, as well as build border lines of peace, friendship, and cooperation with neighboring countries, take good care of overseas Vietnamese returning from Cambodia, and create optimal conditions for Vietnamese firms to do business in Cambodia. Earlier, General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng called at the former base of the Central Office for South Vietnam in Tân Biên District, which was recognized as a special national cultural and historical relic site. Also on June 5th, Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc attended a ceremony to announce his decision that provides some specific mechanisms and policies to foster the development of Lâm Đồng Province and its Đà Lạt city. Under the decision, the Central Highlands Province is permitted to apply some special mechanisms and policies for developing various aspects in Đà Lạt city and its vicinity, such as real estate business, satellite cities, public transport, tourism sites, a biotechnology and high-tech agriculture zone, and a concentrated IT zone. The Provincial People's Committee can allow property investors who have completed infrastructure construction to transfer their projects to other investors for building housing or other structures approved by authorized agencies. Taxes on imported materials and equipment for building high-tech greenhouses and net houses serving vegetable and flower production can also be exempted for 5 years if those materials and equipment cannot be sold domestically. Lâm Đồng Province is also allowed to build a green village on a trial basis in Đà Lạt city. Addressing the ceremony, Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc said the decision aims to create optimal conditions for Lâm Đồng to capitalize on its natural potentials, especially in tourism and agriculture. He told local authorities to prioritize tourism and high-tech agriculture, adding that brands should be built for each hotel and tourism site, along with each high-tech farm products to boost export. Later on the day, the government leader visited the Đà Lạt Ground Force Academy and some policy beneficiaries. Vietnamese Deputy Minister of Defense, Senior Lieutenant General Nguyễn Chí Vịnh has delivered a speech at the 4th plenary section of the 15th Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore, where he called on nations to enhance cooperation and trust to maintain regional security. Vic noted that there remain potential risks to regional security, such as terrorism, nuclear weapons, territorial disputes, marine security, and non-traditional security challenges. Therefore, he suggested nations cooperate together to settle disagreements, prevent conflicts, build trust, respect each other's legitimate interests, and frankly struggle to find out the common voice and benefits in dealing with disputes. The officer said, either cooperation or struggle, nations must observe the spirit of equality and respect for international law, considering it as standards for the concerned parties to settle disputes, disagreements, reduce conflict risks, and avoid the use of or threat to use force. Regarding the East Sea tension, Vic affirmed Vietnam is determined to maintain its independence and self-reliance, taking it as the highest principle and conducting both cooperation and struggle for development and settlement of disputes. He also stressed that Vietnam wants to cooperate with China and related countries in building trust and seeking solutions acceptable to all concerned parties and in line with international law and practice. The Department of Business Registration reported that more than 44,700 enterprises were established in the first 5 months of this year, with a total capital of 349.5 trillion Vietnam dong, equivalent to $15.5 billion. These figures represent a 24% year-on-year increase in the number of new businesses and a 59% year-on-year rise in capital. According to the department, the additional registered capital was $29.5 billion, bringing the total to $45.5 billion. Most of the sectors saw a higher number of newly established firms than the same period last year. The real estate sector witnessed the highest growth of 121%, with 1,076 firms. The entertainment area was the only sector which had a decrease of 26.5%, with 583 firms. Also, during the period, 13,000 businesses resumed operations. However, the number of enterprises that have either suspended or shut down operations were also high, standing at 33,200. A survey by Vietnam-Thailand Nansen Software Company shows the country's consumer confidence index was 91 points in the second quarter of this year, 6 points higher than the same period last year. In the first quarter, the index was 51 points. The index was based on Vietnamese nationals' expectations of the value of the domestic currency, employment, economy, and personal living standards. The company revealed that households who earn more than $600 monthly account for 57% of the population, while 30% earn from $292 to $607 monthly. The ratio has improved remarkably over the last decade, while only 5% of households earned more than $600 and 17% earned between $292 and $607. Vietnam's $1 billion club, which comprises exports with turnover of more than $1 billion, has been expanded after admitting an additional 12 export staples as its members in the first 5 months of this year.
Mobile phones and components took the lead in export revenue with $14.44 billion, which made up 21.3% of the nation's export turnover during the period. It's likely for the country to rake in more than $36 billion from shipping mobile phones and components abroad in 2016. Regarding its consumption markets, the United Arab Emirates was the largest purchaser with $1.5 trillion, followed by the US, the Republic of Korea, and the UK. Garment and textile products were also listed in the club with $8.6 billion in export revenue. The figure in the 5-month period recorded a year-on-year increase of 6.1% and is expected to exceed $24.5 billion for the whole year. Major export markets of these products were the US, Japan, the Republic of Korea, and Spain. Other member of the club was computers and components, which had an export revenue of $6.34 billion in the first 5 months of this year, an increase of 5.4% compared to the same period in 2015. Footwear also secured a place in the $1 billion club with $4.96 billion earned in foreign markets during the 5-month period. The largest consumption markets were the US, China, and Japan. Total export revenue of the commodity is forecast to hit $12.7 billion in 2016. Machines, equipment, and tools, agricultural products, coffee, accessories, rice, and vegetables were also present in the club.
The Prime Minister has signed up on an action plan for an integrated coastal zone management strategy in Vietnam up to 2020. The strategy until 2020, with a vision to 2030, was approved in December 2014. Under the plan, authorized ministries and localities will issue policies and regulations on integrated coastal zone management, use natural resources sustainably, and preserve biodiversity. They will work to prevent and control pollution while mitigating losses caused by natural disasters and tackle climate change. Public awareness campaigns about integrated coastal zone management will also be launched. Relevant sectors will investigate and assess the influence of waste sources from the mainland and at sea on the coastal zone environment, build a database on the waste and its impact, and suggest countermeasures. Vietnam's coast is more than 3,260 kilometers long in total, traversing 28 out of 63 provinces and cities. Coastal localities are home to nearly half of the country's population. Hundreds of Asian trees in Trà Vinh City, which is described as the green city of the Mekong Delta region, could be at risk of death. We'll have more in the following report. The trees suffering include tamarind, dầu, and sao trees. Dầu and sao trees, valued for their wood, are threatened species in their natural habitat. Experts blame the construction of concrete pavements and improper care, which limit photosynthesis and water absorption, decreasing plant vitality. The affected trees don't have many leaves and are not a healthy green. Trees on Phạm Hồng Thái, Nam Kỳ Khởi Nghĩa, and Trần Quốc Tuấn streets are affected the most. The affected trees seemed less green and healthy in recent years. Their leaves turn yellow in rainy or dry season, and branches often fell off. Authorities of Trà Vinh City proposed a project to maintain old trees to 2020 at an initial cost of $893,600. The project is expected to begin next month. Local authorities also suggested the Provincial People's Committee direct relevant agencies who lay underground power cables to avoid damaging tree root. Trà Vinh City is home to over 13,690 trees. Of these, about 800 trees are more than 100 years old, including tamarind, Dipterocarpus alatus, and Hopia odorata trees. The Prime Minister has approved a project on preserving and promoting the cultural value of the Nguyen Dynasty royal administrative documents, a documentary heritage of the UNESCO's Memory of the World Committee for Asia and the Pacific.
The project aims at providing people, both at home and abroad, with the valuable historical materials, serving historical studies, and contributing to building and safeguarding the country, as well as educating young generations on the nation's historical and cultural traditions. The collection is comprised of 85,000 documents bearing the seals of 11 Nguyen kings who reigned from 1802 to 1945, including royal edicts and decrees, reports to the king, and credentials. The documents serve as an important legal basis for affirming Vietnam's sovereignty over its sea and islands.
And that has come to an end of our program. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.